invites her friend, Angie Montano, over for a visit.
Angie Montano moved here with her son to get him out of Albuquerque. She was trying to start her life over again, like a lot of people who move here.
In February of 1999, Angie Montano unwittingly walks into a world of trouble in Elephant Butte, New Mexico. After luring her into their trap, sexual sadist David Parker Ray and his girlfriend, Cindy Hendy, blindfold her and restrain her to a bed. Over the course of the next 4 days, Angie Montano is shuttled back and forth between a number of different rooms where she is repeatedly sexually assaulted and tortured.
David Ray was way beyond being a psychopath. He was an individual terrorist.
A sexual sadist can be one of the most violent criminals because their sexual interests can result in so much damage to the victim. They will go to whatever extent it takes for them to become sexually aroused. Whatever it takes, whatever they want, anything goes. It does not matter. It does not make any difference.
Angie is victimized with cattle prods and electric shocks, as well as a number of homemade and customized sexual devices.
Montano was tortured very badly on several different levels. David didn't do things like that quickly. He really made people suffer.
Sexual sadists who are acting out, their victims are insignificant to them. I use this analogy. If you got up in the morning and you used a tissue to dot your makeup or shave, and you threw that tissue away, and then you go to work, do you worry about that tissue? Are you concerned about that tissue laying in that garbage can? Are you concerned about what the ultimate fate of that facial tissue is? No. And for some of these individuals, that's how they view their victims.
David was a mechanic. He treated human beings as victims like you would treat a piece of machinery.
Cindy Hendy assists David Ray in the abuse.
According to David, he introduced Cindy Hendy to his torture techniques on a real gentle level because he didn't want to scare her off. And she was apparently challenged by what he did.
Sexual sadists can be extremely adept at identifying a woman that they can bring into their criminal behavior.
Cindy Hendy, one of her friends down here, saw hand imprints on her butt where David had spanked her. He spotted a true companion, a true sadistic companion.
Angie's ordeal at the hands of David Parker Ray and Cindy Hendy comes to an end on February 21st, 1999.
She pulled David over and said, "David, I need to get back to my son. You don't need to do these bad things to me." And David said to her, "If I'd known you were this nice, I wouldn't have kidnapped you in the first place," which probably wasn't true. But he did decide to let her go. And they took her up to I-25 and released her after 5 days.
While she was on I-25, she was picked up by an off-duty deputy sheriff. She explained to him what had occurred. He wanted to stop at the state police office in Socorro and report the matter. She didn't want to because of things in her past. She was afraid of the police. He believed what she was saying. However, he became suspicious when she refused to report it to law enforcement.
The off-duty officer drops Angie off close to where she lives. Less than 48 hours after being released by David Parker Ray, Angie Montano leaves Truth or Consequences for good.
Angie went back to Albuquerque. She got out of this town as quick as she could.
Two weeks later, Cindy Hendy tells David Ray she would like to visit family in Washington State.
Hendy's daughter was about ready to give birth to Hendy's first grandchild up in Monroe, and Hendy wanted to go home for the birth of her grandchild.
Ray allows it, but under one condition.
David said, let's go get a sex slave to satisfy me in the meantime. Cindy V. Hill was working as a prostitute in March of 1999 in Albuquerque. David was up there with Hendy, and they tricked her into getting into their little motorhome. And then they handcuffed her at gunpoint and drove her south.
Cindy V. Hill is taken to their home, and a collar and chain are attached to her neck. She is bound to a bed, blindfolded, and gagged. Now, in total darkness, she hears the click of a tape recorder and the sound of a man's voice.
Hello, bitch. Well, this tape's getting played again. Must mean I picked up another hooker. And I'll bet you wonder what the hell's going on here.
For 5 long minutes, she listens as the recording goes on to explain how David Parker Ray and his lady friend are going to rape and torture her in every possible way.
The gag is necessary because after a while you're going to be doing a lot of screaming.
David played this tape for his captives for the purpose of terrorizing them and to tell them what was going to be done to them.
He instills that fear into them right off the bat.
He would play those tapes just to see the reaction. I want the reaction to what I say, what I do. I want to see it in your face. I want to see it in your body. I want to see it in your tears.
For the next 3 days, Cindy V. Hill is raped and tortured in the home of David Parker Ray and Cindy Hendy. On March 22nd, 1999, Ray goes to work, leaving his girlfriend to watch over their captive. After 3 days of being raped and tortured by David Parker Ray and Cindy Hendy, on March 22nd, 1999, 22-year-old Cindy V. Hill is at her wit's end.
She had a dog collar around her neck. She saw the keys. She was by herself. Her guard was David's girlfriend. She was out making tuna sandwiches, I think, in the kitchen. V. Hill saw those keys.
The Sierra County Sheriff's Dispatch Center receives a 911 call from 513 Bass Road.
Hendy heard the commotion in the living room. V. Hill stabbed Hendy in the back of the neck, just enough to stun her, and ran out the door and down the street, wearing nothing but a dog collar and a 5-foot chain. She ran about a mile, and she spotted a double-wide trailer and barged through the door.
Another call comes into 911, this one from a different address. When local officers arrive, they are shocked not only by Cindy V. Hill's appearance, but also by what she tells them.
They had responded to a 911 call where a young woman had appeared naked and hysterical, claiming that she had been abducted against her will and